Hello, everybody. Welcome to the channel. My name is Lindsay, and this is Life with Lindsay. Today we are working on a whip and chat. But if you're new here, hi, welcome. My name is Lindsay. I do mainly diamond painting and some other crafting related content. And I would love if you would like, subscribe, hit the bell, hop aboard the Hot Mess Express. Let's all be friends. If you've been here before, hi, welcome. If you are unfamiliar with what a whip and chat is, that is when I work on my current whip, WIP, which is work in progress. This is, one day I'll remember the name of this without looking on the side. It is Tea Party in the Rose Garden. It just has such a long name. So it's not too long, but long enough, you know? Anyway, so I'll be working on this. You can work on whatever it is that you want to be working on. It can be another craft project. It can be a household project. It can be while you're doing chores. It can be while you're driving. You can keep it on while you're working, while you're doing laundry, while you're meal prepping, whatever it is that you want to be doing. There is no right way or wrong way to whip and chat. But before we get, I did not need to pull that much out. Before we get like super into today's whip and chat, I just want to address something. And I know there are many people that believe things like, you're a crafting channel, you should keep politics out of it. But it's more than just politics, it's human rights. So I just want to address something and then we're going to move on from it. If you are somebody who is feeling a bit concerned or a little scared of the world because of what's going on in it, did not mean to hit that, apologize there. I want you to know that this is a safe place. If you are somebody who is not a cisgender, heterosexual white male, many of us have targets on our backs or feel like our loved ones do. And so I just want to say, if you are feeling scared or less hopeful than normal, that this is a safe space. I will not tolerate any sort of hate directed at myself. You'll be immediately blocked. But targeted towards people that I love also will not be tolerated. So I just want to say to those that are out there that also feel a little less than enthused right now, all the way up to absolutely terrified, that this is a safe place. It has always been a safe place. It will continue to be a safe place. It does our society no good to sit there and try to tear us apart further. And I'm not going to get super into it because I want, if the longer I sit on it, the more frustrating I become and the more difficult it is for me to handle it. So I just want to address that. And I just want to reiterate that if you are in a similar boat, you are absolutely welcome here. No questions asked. So I hope that you are all well. It has been a crazy roller coaster of a week over here. Crazy. It had snow days and it had ice skating, which none of this really is that new. And then it had a competition and it had a stomach virus and it had coffee and it had happy tears and sad tears and lots of things in between. So I'm excited to talk to you all. What color did I just pull out? I hope that you guys are all well. I am very much questioning how people with multiple children survive. For those who don't know, I have one child, and almost every day at the end of the day, when I spend that much time with her, I feel like, is it bedtime yet? Oh my gosh, you guys, I can't wait to talk about the competition, which was later in the week, so I will get to that. But I hope that you guys are all well. I hope that you are finding moments to bring you joy, whether it's diamond painting or spending time with loved ones or watching a TV show or doing something that brings you warmth and comfort. This week, so my kiddo on Sunday, we got snow. Okay, you guys, we got like, I think 7-8 inches here of snow. And so on Sunday, we decided to just kind of chill and watch some TV and things of that nature. I know I've asked you guys your opinions on what to watch. Does this look really blown out, like the image? I can't tell if it's just because the angle that I have the camera and the screen is busted, or if it actually does. So if the images that you guys are seeing look terrible, please let me know. I mean, I guess I'll find that out when I go through the editing process here shortly. I mean, shortly in another, hour. But I get back to what I'm actually talking about. But we ended up starting Full House. I don't know if that was last week or this week. I think it was last week. But she's really, really been into it, and she is totally latching herself onto Stephanie. She thinks Stephanie Tanner is the most hilarious human being on the planet. And while some of the references she doesn't get because we don't live in the 1980s, it's good to see that a lot of it is still relevant and makes sense. But have any of you rewatched Full House as an adult? Now, I will be honest with you. I watched Full House as a kid. I was not a completist. I don't know that I ever saw like the series finale or anything like that. But I really enjoyed it. And then I did watch Fuller House when that came out on Netflix. And I enjoyed that. I enjoyed it. It had a lot of that nostalgia that I feel like many of us just pine for. And I really enjoyed it. But what I was a bit surprised by, and we are only in the first season, is how adult some of the things are in this show. That obviously when I watched that was, if I watched it when it aired in the 80s, I was very close in age to Stephanie. So I think I'm like the same age or a year older than her. So, at 5 years old, I wasn't understanding the adult things that were happening anyway. But as a 42-year-old watching it now, I'm like, whoa. So, let's just talk about that for a second, okay? So, Uncle Jesse, FYI, if you didn't know, he has a totally different name in the first season. Okay, or different last name. He still has the name Uncle Jesse. But there is a lot, and I mean a lot, of him making out with women. Okay, fine. That's the point. He's supposed to be that kind of guy. But listen, there's an episode, and they were talking about first times. How first times can be very memorable. And obviously, we knew what they were talking about when it came to Uncle Jesse. But then he goes on to tell this story about how he was 14 years old in the drive-in with his college girlfriend. And I was like, whoa, whoa. That would be pedophilia right there. That is not appropriate for a 14-year-old a boy to be sleeping with a grown adult female. But that was quite the interesting moment. I was like, what, did I just hear that? And then it was said again, and I was like, okay, so that's definitely what we're talking about. But in general, she's really been enjoying it, and I don't do TV on the regular in my house. No, it's not because I'm a super strict mom or anything like that. If you guys haven't been here very long, or you're new here, which if you guys are new, hey, I just have the kind of kid that can't have the TV on and then transition to the next thing. So instead of us dealing with big, massive fights and a lot of stress and anxiety over going from one thing to the next. And yes, I've done all of the things you're supposed to do. I've set the timers, I've given countdown, I do all the things, and it's still a very, very, very difficult. So we just keep TV for special occasions, and for right now, it works for us, it works for our family, so we're going to continue to do that. But she has really been enjoying Full House, and so we watched a ton of it. And my husband, I think my husband was home with us Sunday and Monday and Tuesday this week, for like, he was just off. Well, one of the days his job was closed because there was snow. Excuse me, my nose is starting to run, which hopefully it's nothing and it's just my nose starting to run. But anywho, what color am I working on? Because I feel like I don't have that much of it. I hope I don't have a whole ton of this left. And I've probably said now like 3 times what color am I working on because I legit keep forgetting. And this is my really official system. I keep the lid of the color I'm working on right on my workstation. Or if I'm using like my Elizabeth Word, I keep the container that I'm working on with the lid up. I usually put it like in a tray or off to the side that tells me which one's which, you know? Anyway, so we've been watching a lot of that. And then with that, we decided to also finally watch The Mighty Ducks, which she enjoyed. I don't know if you guys know this, but Joshua Jackson was my first, like, huge crush. I mean, I feel like a lot of us had crushes when we were young that, like, you forgot about until you got older. I also had a crush on Ryder Strong from Boy Meets World, but Joshua Jackson was, like, my everything. I loved him in The Mighty Ducks, which was, I think, 92 was the first one, and then I was obsessed with him in Dawson's Creek, to the point that, like, if you called my house, I would, like, disown you. Like, do not bother me. Do not talk to me. It is Dawson's Creek time. Go away. And I 1000% had situations where I had to tell my friends, like, please don't call me. Like, I'm not available. So I need to adjust this because, there we go. I keep moving my tray like just an inch above, and it keeps getting stuck in the this much of the adhesive that is exposed, but I need that adhesive because that's what I'm working on, if that makes sense. Anyway, I feel like I'm all over the place. I am all over the place. I also feel like, oh, I don't have that much left in this area, despite the fact that I have 8,000 colors out on my desk. Let me grab, let's go with this one. But I usually, and no, I don't usually work out of these, you know, tiny drill trays, but there's so much confetti in this canvas, and the area that I'm working on, like, some of these drills only have a couple drills, so, that's why I'm pulling out the small tray, because it's easier to just get them in and out. And if it's really just a couple, and I notice that before I pour them, I'll just put them right into the lid and work that way. Did I seriously just pull that out for one? Probably did, you guys. This is going to be a lot of the actual diamond painting part of this video. Is going to be me being like, where did that go? What am I looking for? So, heads up for that. I hope that you guys are all well. I don't know if I've said that or not. But yeah, so we spent a lot of time just hanging out, her and I, or the three of us. And yeah, it was nice. It was really nice. I'm glad I'm getting to have these moments with her where her and I can bond over something fun. And I'm going to be honest with you. As much as I loved playing in the snow as a kid, as an adult, the idea of me being outside in like a foot of snow, soaking wet and cold, just sounds miserable. I also cannot for the life of me find any waterproof gloves that fit my child. Okay, I just used that color and put it away and then found it again. So there's that. So we didn't actually play in the snow. I know you guys are always thinking, right? I don't know if anyone's thinking this, but in my mind, I think everybody's thinking, well, she skates. She must have gloves. Yeah, but she doesn't have any single waterproof gloves because that's not the kind of gloves she wears when she skates. She just wears like little knit gloves. Anyway, I feel like maybe I should have finished this section and then started filming a whip and chat so that I could actually concentrate a little bit more on what I'm doing and not continuously feeling like squirrel. But here we are, and I hope that you guys can follow along here. I feel like I've been neglecting the channel, and I apologize. I did not expect life to be so dramatically different and busy this year than it was last year, you know, and as a human being, you can only compare your current experience with your previous experience or the idea of your experience. So for me, last year, my daughter was not competing at this time, for example. And school was only half day. So a lot of my time is spent differently than it was, which also means I don't have as much time to focus on this as I did, and not in a positive or negative way, but just, a simple fact. And it just, I don't know, I'm totally bouncing between a couple of things right here, but I don't know why it seems like Alice in a Winter Wonderland is having significantly less engagement this year than it did in previous years. I don't know if it's because I'm not doing enough on my end to market to new people, or if the lack of regular videos is playing it. I had a bunch of you say that you actually did watch the I Spy, but you didn't engage with it because you had no desire to be the featured account. And I think that a lot of people, what they're not realizing is, like, the featured account, you don't have to be, like, featured. It can just be a good way for you. Like, if there's a shop you love that you think people should know about, like, you can feature that. Or it can just be as simple as, hey, go follow this person on Instagram and be their sense of community. Give them that feeling of, hey, I'm in it with you. It doesn't have to be anything big or dramatic. And I love this event. I'm just like, I don't know why. Like, I literally have not had a single person register for the event in like 2 weeks, which is crazy, seeing that we're only like 3.5 weeks into the month. Or I guess 4 weeks in, well, it'll be about 4 weeks by the time it'll still be about 3.5 weeks. So if you know somebody that you think would love this event, please share. And if you guys tag me in your posts on Instagram, not all of them, because some of them are not still showing up that way, and I'm manually going through and looking. But in general, like, if you do that, I will share into my story. And I've noticed that it just seems a lot quieter. And I don't know if people aren't into events as much, or if people are doing other events, which is totally fine. If you guys are doing another event and you typically have done Alice in a Winter Wonderland, like, there's absolutely no animosity or anything like that. I want you guys to enjoy what you're doing. But as somebody who created this event and has hosted this event now for 5 years, it's a little disheartening when you're working really hard to make it something special, and it feels like you're kind of on an island. I feel like I don't have people engaging with me, let alone engaging with other members of the community. So I would love to somehow fix that. If you guys have any suggestions, let me know. Or, I don't take it personal if somebody is not participating. I don't know. It's just a little disheartening. And I don't want to give it up. I'm not going to. I also found out there is another host of an Alice in Wonderland diamond painting event that is running the same time frame as mine. If I remember, I will try to link her channel. It is a German speaking channel. I don't know if she's English speaking as well, or if she just uses like Translate. But I noticed she was shared on Oraloa's story, and they obviously had her handle up, and I went to her page and I checked it out, and I was like, oh, she's participating. Make sure you fill out. And then she responded that she's actually hosting her own diamond painting event for Alice in Wonderland as well. And if you guys want to participate in both, like double dip. I don't know what her rules and regulations are. So if that's against her rules, I do apologize. I don't think it would be because she did use my event hashtag in her post as well. But if you're looking for more Alice people as well, might be another place to start. I don't know how you enter hers or anything like that. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I didn't really take the time to try to find that information. So it's not like I searched and I couldn't find it. I just didn't really, I just commented, she replied, and I was like, oh, okay, another Alice event. But my thing is, let's grow the community, right? So it's kind of hard to grow the community when the community is not participating or the community is not engaging. And that is just a bit frustrating. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. So for those who are participating and who are engaging and who are commenting and who are posting and sharing and things like that, like you guys are the reason that this event continues. And though the numbers may be smaller this year than in previous years, which is totally fine. It's not about how many people are participating. It's like the level of participation that I'm noticing is just seeming to be less and less. I appreciate you guys more than you will ever know. And for those who've gotten something huge out of Alice in Winter Wonderland, the way I have, you know exactly what it's like when you find your person because they did the event and you connected with them. And that's really all I want. And I'm hoping that I'm not the reason that it's slowing down. But you know, I'm going to keep doing it until it just doesn't work for me anymore. And hopefully that day is never, right? We want to be doing this forever. Well, maybe not forever, but you know. So I also want to remind you guys that if you want to join in at any time during the duration of the event, you are always welcome. The entry and exit forms are now available in the link or in my description and in the link tree, in my Instagram bio. So if you guys are like, oh, I want to join, but I don't know where the documents are, they're all there. And you can always shoot me a message if you are having trouble finding it. But give me some time to get back. Sometimes I can respond right away, but other times, you know, life. So that was my super tangent that had absolutely nothing to do with me telling you guys all about the snow day. And then my kiddo had off on Monday for MLK, which I was very happy to find out that they were actually talking about that at school and not just like glazing over it. My father, I think this is a cool story and a flex, but my father met him as a younger man, and my dad was a waiter, and they met at an event, and it made a huge impact on my father. And there's not many people there's nobody else in my world that I know that can say they've met and had a conversation with MLK, Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. I'll give him his credit for his whole name, and not just Martin Luther King Jr. But he made a huge impact meeting my dad, and so I think that's super cool. And I'm really glad that my daughter is learning about things in school, because not every school handles history the same way. Let's just leave it at that. Anyway, so Tuesday she had a delay. So we talked about this a couple videos ago, I think. One of the issues that I have is I live in a state that tends to get snow. Do we get a lot of snow? Sometimes. But other years we get like flurries and that's it. I find it very, very odd that our school district doesn't have built-in buffer days. What they do is they have days that are built into the schedule that are scheduled days off, whether it's for vacation or like not an in-service day, but something like similar that the kids have off. And then they have these days that overlap those that are snow makeup days, which means if we have a snow day, we will make it up on this day. Now, listen, as a kid, we had snow days built into the school year. If we exceeded, I don't know, 4 snow days or whatever it was, then they were just added on at the end of the year. Sorry, I was looking for a color. And I don't understand why we don't do that. And I've learned, and if you work in education and you have a better explanation of this, please feel free to put it down below in the description or in the comments and explain this, because a 2-hour delay and a half day or like an early dismissal for weather don't count as missed days of school, but in actual we canceled school does. So I think that they try to do a lot of like, let's just delay school instead of canceling it, which for me as a stay-at-home parent, that's fine. But for the average working human being, that doesn't really work because, you know, people have to go to work. And it's really hard to find a sitter last minute. Sometimes these calls aren't made until, like, you'd be getting your kid up for school anyway. I think that's one of the issues we have in this country with the work system and education and support systems and things like that. But it is really frustrating that like sometimes you don't know if your kid actually is going to have school until like you're waking them up. Like, I'm not going to wake her up early if she doesn't have to be up early. But what ended up happening was we decided that we were still going to do our morning ice. So we did morning ice on, just put that color away. Damn. On Tuesday. And I was talking to my husband because my husband was driving around the night before, and I am somebody who I don't like snow. I don't like driving in snow or ice. I mean, nobody likes driving in ice unless you're an ice road trucker and you're making, $1 million doing it. But I don't like driving in general like that. I don't like driving when it's raining. I don't like driving when it's sunny. I don't like driving when it's dark out. If I could hit the lottery and just have somebody drive me around for the rest of my life, I would be over the moon excited. And the roads were cleared, so we decided to go. And my daughter had a competition over the weekend, so I didn't want to take too much ice time away from her because we wanted to make sure she was ready and prepared and all these things. So she had her morning ice. She did a great job. And then we ended up having a 2-hour delay, so we didn't take her right to school. And it was a little bit of a weird feeling of waking up early and then not going to school right away. But, it is what it is. But in general, like if the roads were not okay, I would have said to her coach, like, okay, we can't make that work today. And I have had to previously cancel. The problem is her coach wants us to switch all of our ice time to morning ice time, which is great. But then if there's any kind of weather issues, then I don't have a time to make it up for an afternoon session. But then the afternoon sessions are, besides the fact that they're more chaotic, my daughter, her attention span is just gone. Understandably. I don't know why, as a society, we think, let's have kids go to school for like an entire day, and then they will be required to do additional things after school. Sports. Not all kids are required to do sports. Sports, homework, and do all these things. And then we expect these kids to be able to keep it all together. And it's like, well, when you come home from work, the last thing you want to do is do more work. Like, you're done. You're off the clock. I am not a believer in homework, and I am somebody who, I actually went to school to be a teacher originally. I definitely changed courses on that. But I am a firm believer in no homework. My kid is busting her butt to make it through the day. And keep in mind, my kid, she is incredibly smart. A lot of things do come easily to her at this age. I know that as she gets older, it's not going to necessarily be the same way. But I still don't think, I don't think that making her do work outside of the work she's already done, unless she has missed something. You know what I mean? Like if she is behind, I'm not going to be like, oh, let me put this one on before I put it away. I'm not going to be like, oh, now's the day to not do your work. Oh my gosh, there's another one. This is why I hate confetti. The amount of colors that I go, oh, I just put that away, and then have to fill it in again. It's so time consuming. And I apologize. I know I am doing a ton of sniffling. My nose is running like crazy, and I don't have any tissues because I'm trapped at my desk. But anyway, I'm like going on so many tangents, and I feel like I'm never going to get to like the fun stuff of the week. But after I took her to school, I met up with Erica, who from Kevin's Creations, Kevin's DP Pens, and we got together. We are participating in something. It is local to us, and I'm sure they exist in other cities and other capacities. It is a Java journey, and local coffee shops throughout the county are participating in this. And you buy a passport and reusable cup, and there are multiple stops on this journey, and you have the ability to win a gift card, but also you get access to specialty drinks that are only available if you have that passport. So since we already do coffee together and oftentimes are like, where do you want to meet? Let's try somewhere new. Where do you want to go? And sometimes trying to find a spot between us, because I don't want to make her drive all the way to me, nor does she want to make me drive all the way to her. We both do that. But I don't want it to be like 100% of the time you come here. So we went on the first stop, and it was funny. Okay, if you guys want to know the difference between us as like people, okay, I lose my sunglasses while they're on my face. I am that kind of person. I have zero organization skills. I don't know what's going on or where anything is at any given point. I have no idea. I'm just along for the ride. I'm here. I have no idea what's going on. Erica, on the other hand, has now made a spreadsheet of the locations. She made a Google Map tour of the locations of all the coffee shops so she could look at a map and go, okay, if we're going to do one in the area near her, let's see if we can hit up more than one that day. If we're doing one in the area near me, let's see if we can hit up more than one that day. There's a cluster that are not near either of us that we're going to do all together in one day. And then she put it all in a spreadsheet and decided these are the days that we're going to go to these places if that works with your schedule. And I was like, cool. Let's make it happen. Me, I'm like, just tell me when to show up. This is like the huge difference between the two of us. And I don't say that as like one is better than the other or one is more effective than the other. Let me be honest. She's probably a lot more effective as a human being than I am because I literally have no idea what's going on. If it doesn't exist in my calendar, it does not exist. If it's not written down, it does not exist. Like if you told me something and I agreed to it, I probably don't remember. And that's only gotten worse as I've gotten older because I literally cannot keep track of things anymore. But so Erica called around to see if they had the passports at any of the shops that we were talking about going to. And they didn't, but they had them at one that's down the street from my house that we were not planning on going to for our coffee day. But I was like, girl, I got you. So I went to the restaurant or the coffee shop to go get the coffee. I just put this color away. This is so frustrating. And I picked up our coffee cups and our passports. And the woman there was like, are you getting anything today? And I was like, no, thank you. And the look on her face that I basically just came there and bought the stuff that I needed to participate, but not actually put any other money. I was like, you just made money off of me. I'm not sure why you're seemingly mad about that, but okay. Like, it's okay, hon. You'll be okay. So anyway, we went to our coffee shop. We got our coffee together. I got one that had pepper in it. I thought it sounded good. But there's a difference between something having like a pepper flavor and something just tasting like you're licking a pepper container. Like, it didn't have, like, spice or anything. It was just, like, very fine pepper in my mouth. And I was hoping to love it. I did not. Also, TMI, I'm pretty sure that it really did not sit well in my belly because I was very gurgly for, like, a while. Like, almost immediately. But I'm excited. Erica and I are going to hit up a couple more spots. So this thing only runs for a couple weeks. So we're going to try to get in all of them. That is the plan. Check back in, I think, March. I'll let you know. But we went and had that. It was really fun. And then later that day, we did a staple run after my daughter was done. I mean, like, to the store Staples, not to, like, go get a staple. Which I'm sure none of you were like, oh yeah, Lindsay bought some Staples. No. My husband uses Staples for all of his printing needs for business purposes, because he can't do what he needs on, like, a residential printer. So we often go to Staples. And our local Staples used to actually have my husband's business and 2 other local businesses, like, highlighted on a display. They don't have any up right now, so I'm wondering what the deal is with that, but I'm not going to worry about it. But yeah, that was our Tuesday? I think it was Tuesday. Wednesday, I had a chiropractor appointment. I had placed an order for a team jacket for my daughter earlier in the month, and I was hoping that it would be ready in time for the competition over the weekend, but I have no idea. So I just kept keeping track of, did I get any emails? Did I get any updates? And a couple days earlier, they had emailed me to ask me if my child was my daughter or my son, because they used different font to embroider a boy's name versus a girl's name, which I find very interesting. And I said, she's a girl. And then I was like, okay, that must mean that they must be getting close to the end, right? They have to be getting close to the end if they're already asking about embroidering her name. So I'd gotten the email early Wednesday morning that said our jacket was ready for pickup. And I know you guys are going to be shocked by this, but I found yet another of the color that I put away. And now my pen won't pick it up. So let's just grab a pen for a second. Is there something wrong with this drill? Why is nothing picking it up? There we go. And now where did it go? This is the worst. This is my least favorite part about diamond painting, is when you know there's a drill that has to go somewhere and you can't figure out where that, like, went. Very frustrating. Let's get back to... So after my chiropractor appointment, I was able to go pick up her jacket, which I was so excited about. Now, for reference, my kiddo turned 7 in November. She is a peanut of a child, but in general, I ordered the smallest size available, which was a youth extra small, which is typically meant for 4 to 5 year olds. And again, I'm reminding you, my child is very small to start with, okay? You guys, it looked like she was wearing a jacket. It looks like this jacket she'll be able to wear until she's like 10, 11 years old. The sleeves are too long. The body is too long. The body is too wide. It's the smallest size that they had. And I've let her know it is not her everyday skating jacket. Like, I'm fine with her wearing it for competitions and things like that. But I've let her know that in general, when you are practicing on the ice, you're going to be practicing in your regular fleece jacket. And then, of course, her coach was like, next time, I know this is the smallest they had, but next time, if you get the fleece jacket, because the way it lays on my daughter, she can't tell if my daughter's shrugging her shoulders and keeping them up by her neck or if that's the cut of the jacket because of the material, which I totally understand. But I'm like, well, by the time Briar grows out of the one she's wearing, sure. But that won't be for a couple years. You guys, it is stupid huge on her. And her friend, who's also smaller, I told her mom, I was like, just try it on before you buy it, please, because you don't need, and I was shocked. Our girls are very similar in size. They're very different in like body composition. But like, I was like, does she have like crazy long arms and Briar has really short arms, or like what is going on here? Because it fit her arms much better than it fit Briar's, but she still does not need to size up. So, and I also told her, I was like, make sure you talk to the coach before you buy it, because she wasn't super thrilled how it's sitting on my daughter and how that makes her question in terms of like coaching. So, you know, don't go spend the money until you talk to her first. Don't be like me. But I also learned this week that I'm not the only mom that has no idea what's going on. Shout out to all the other skate moms that are just kind of figuring things out as they go, because I have zero idea. And then other moms ask me questions and I'm like, listen, I barely know like what I'm doing at this exact moment at the rink and how I got here. I have no idea how to do things moving forward. But picked up the jacket, came home, and then she had skating in the evening, so I let her wear her jacket. I wanted to surprise her first of all, but I also wanted to see how she would skate in the jacket, if it was something that it was going to be feasible for her to wear to the competition, and all of that fun stuff. And let me tell you, I knew by that day that, oh, this is going to be a cold rink. Let me just say one obvious statement. My tweezers are stuck in glue. That wasn't the statement. Sorry, my husband's right next to me. Ice rinks are cold, and I'm aware of that. I don't want anyone to sit here and be like, she's talking about an ice rink. Aren't all ice rinks cold? Yes. But some ice rinks are significantly colder than others. There is an ice rink that we have skated on that my daughter was fine in shorts and a t-shirt. Where is my wax? Okay, I'm not going to stress about that. It's probably under the 15 different bottles of, there we go. There's more than 15 bottles out on my desk right now. Where did my pen go? But it was at that very moment that I realized that the rink we were going to be competing in was going to be a very, very cold rink, because her coach said to me, she's black gloves, right? And I said, yep. And she said, do you mind if I put them under her skating dress? So far, 0 times that my daughter has skated in the showcases or competitions has she been allowed to wear gloves. Typically, they allow kids to wear nude gloves. I don't own like actual nude gloves, but because this part of my daughter's dress is dark, it's black, she let her put the black gloves on so that when I put the finger piece over it, it all looked like it was one piece. But I was like, oh, it's going to be a cold rink. It was a cold rink, just FYI. It was a very, very cold rink. But so Wednesday she got to test out her jacket, and it makes her feel super official, because none of the little kids have the jackets. It's only the big kids. And despite the fact that ice skating is an individual sport, they're all members of the same skate club. And I don't know how other parents do it, but the kids that train with the same coach, when we are at a competition together, I am cheering for them. I do not care if they are skating against my child directly. I am still cheering for them, because we are all putting in the hard work, and they deserve to be praised and recognized just as much as my own child does. And I know some people don't agree with that, but I very much and will continue to do that, because I think that's the right thing to do. And it made her feel more like one of the big kids and one of the team wearing the jacket. But I ended up getting super, super sick overnight. Not from that coffee that had a crap ton of pepper in it. And I was like, oh no, please don't be another stomach bug coming through, because the last thing I need is my daughter getting sick when it is Thursday or Wednesday, like in the middle of the night, and going into Thursday, and my daughter is supposed to compete on Saturday. I wanted to do everything I could to make sure that she was nowhere near me. And I was very sick, and my husband immediately stepped up. Not that he is not stepped up normally, but I mean, he contacted his job. He made huge accommodations. So he took her to school, immediately went right to work. Um, and then he used his lunch break to be the end of her school day so he could come home or come pick her up, bring her home. And then she would come home and hang out in her room while I was, felt like dying in my room. And I explained to her, I love you very much. And it's not that I don't want to spend time with you. I just do not want to risk this. And I was very, very thankful because Brian was able to swing that with work. Because even if he could take her to work and not pick her up, like I still was going to have to get to her. And so he was able to make that happen. And then I was slowly but surely starting to feel better. But Friday morning, our coach wanted us to do morning ice time. And so Brian took her to the rink, did the 7 a.m. ice time, brought her to school, took himself to work, came home from work on his lunch break to pick her up from school, brought her home, then came home after work, took care of dinner for the two of them because there was no way that I was going to be able to eat anything. And by Friday, I was more than 24 hours since anything had come out of my body. TMI, I know. But so I was like, okay, as long as I can be on the upswing here and it has not been passed along to her, we're going to be okay. And she had to miss her one lesson on Friday. She has 2 lessons on Fridays. I know that's crazy. One she doesn't always have. So, but the group lesson, she had to miss that because Brian was at work and there was no way he could physically get to home and to the rink in time, even if he left a few minutes early. It just wasn't going to be a thing. And we decided the private lesson the night before she skated or the day before she skated or competition was more important than the group lesson. And then the two of them went to dinner, and that was Friday, and they brought me home like a salad, and I felt human again, which was fantastic. And then the next day, this is probably what most of you want to hear about in this video. Maybe not. I don't know. I have no idea what you're here for. But the next day was the competition. Now, unfortunately for Brian, this competition was basically sprung on us super last minute. And so when we found out about it, it was 2 days before the registration was closing. And there was 0% chance that my husband could take the day off because the schedule was already done. Now, would I have loved for him to be there? Of course. But I'm glad the schedule worked out the way it did because he was able to be home with us when she had her snow day and we were home and just having a good time. And he was able to use his work hours to take care of her while I was sick at school. So it worked out that he didn't have to make me take care of her while I was that sick. And I don't want to say like I didn't take it. I just did not want her to catch it. I was really, really trying to protect this kid. And knock on wood, I did a good job. He did a great job, and I could not have done that without him. And that's what like parenthood is not just like, oh, it's your job, it's my job. It's like, what can we do to make this the best situation possible? And he did. And let me get these two in before. So Saturday, we drove down to the rink, which it is not super, super far, but it is an hour drive. Like mileage-wise, it's not super far. But for me to get to the highway in either direction is like 25 minutes. So, and and the rink was south of us. And most of it was highway, which was great. So we drove down, and I was like, I have no idea where I'm going, what I'm supposed to do. Coach let us know she was going to be there at 8:15. The girls all had practice ice from 9 to 9:40. There were 4 girls that train with the same coach. My daughter and the girl who we skate with regularly, they are one level apart. And then there was another girl who is a year older than them that is 2 levels above, 3 levels above Briar, 2 levels above her friend. And then there was another girl who was 3 levels above that, I think. And then she also told us she was putting another kid on for their coach from a different rink, I guess, which I didn't even see the other child, so I have no idea anything about her. But we got there, and I was talking to the other parents, and I was pleasantly surprised, if you want to call it that, that they also really have no idea. Because the one was like asking me about, like, do you know about testing? And I was like, me? Do I know? I have no idea. My kid's in basic 4. Like, I have no idea. I have no idea. One day I'll find that out. But I'm always told by the coach, when you need to know something, I'll let you know. And that's fine in theory, unless you're a person like me who, like, I have to plan things out. And so the other girl that we train with, her mother is also like that. Like, she did not like that this competition was sprung on us. Our girls were both ready for it. If she didn't think that they were ready for it, she wouldn't have offered it to us, because I don't know if you guys know, but, like, you have to pay to compete, and you have to pay your coach for their time, and you still have to travel, and it's more than just like, oh, your kid shows up, they skate, they go home. And it was fine. Like, I'm not saying that in a negative way, but sometimes you kind of want to know, like, what's the process? I don't really know what I'm doing. Now, thankfully, we've had one competition under our belt, so I had a little bit of an idea of what we were doing. This was a much smaller competition. I knew going into it that my daughter, there was not a large amount of skaters, and our girls are all skating. There's a competition in a month at the same rink. That is a much, much larger competition. Like, it's literally listed on their website as, like, an Olympic style competition. It's really to be, like, the best of the state, but it's open to surrounding states as well. But, like, if you were from, like, the Midwest or the West Coast, like, I don't think you can compete in this. I mean, why would you come to Pennsylvania for a Pennsylvania event if you lived in Texas? But anyway, not the point of the story. So we get there, the girls warm up. She kicks us out of the area and says, leave them with me. Okay, fine. I feel like I'm gonna have to sneeze. Hold on. Indeed, I did have to sneeze. So anyway, our girls had their practice ice, and then we had to get them out of their warm-up stuff and back into their just competition stuff. So for me, my kid was the first one of these 4 or 5 kids that was skating, because she's the lowest level of the ones that were competing. And I'm not saying that in a negative way or anything like that. It just, they go in order from the lowest to the highest. So I had to take she had her skate pants over her dress. And I was sitting in the locker room, and I am watching these girls. Our locker room was under 12. So none of the girls in our locker room were over 12. There was a different locker room for 12 to 17, I think. I don't think anybody at this competition was older than, like, I think they were all, for lack of a better term, kids. There was no adult skaters. There was no adult levels. So anyway, got Briar ready, and I'm watching these girls, these young girls, all of them doing, like, their hair and their makeup, and I'm like, I don't have a stitch of anything on my child. For the Nutcracker, we were told rosy cheeks and pink lips if possible, and Briar had a little bit of mascara on. My daughter wears glasses, and she wears glasses when she skates. Like, some kids take off their glasses. Briar cannot. She can't see up close. So, like, she can't afford to not have them on. But, you know, I just thought maybe giving her a little bit of eyelash would help at those. But you still can't tell because they're hiding behind glasses. But I was like, oh, like, am I underprepared here? I have no idea. And for the next one, I'll ask her coach, like, do you want me to put a little bit of makeup on her? My daughter still is at that point where she thinks it's fun and not like, ugh, they're putting makeup on me. Although I do need to get her, like, her own makeup. But let me tell you, the amount of steps the parents do in a competition, the going up the stairs, going down the stairs, going to the backstage, going to the locker room, going to this place, going to just back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And then you go sit in the bleachers, and then you get out of the bleachers, then you go look over at the stands, and you come back over to the bleachers, and then you go into the little lobby. I hit like 70% of my step goals just at the competition. But anyway, so my daughter got on the ice. For those who know anything about ice skating, my daughter competed in Basic 4. There are 6 basic skill levels, 1 through 4. For the littler kids, there are also Snowplow Sam levels. Those are 1 through 4. They overlap with Basic 1 through 3. Our rink did not do Snowplow Sam, so my daughter jumped in at Basic 1. And she has certain elements that you are required to have in a program the same way they would at a higher level. And then you cannot put elements in above that level. So despite the fact that my daughter knows how to do a waltz jump, for example, she cannot do a waltz jump in her program, because if you can do skills above where you're at, then they wonder why you're there. Well, her coach really pushes skills above where they're at and works towards them constantly, while also perfecting their footwork and their basics and their foundations. Because it doesn't matter how good you are at other things, if you don't have the actual, like, important footwork down, you're never going to be able to, like, progress that far. Or you're going to have trouble with going into your jumps or your spins or whatever, because you don't have those basics down. So my daughter had front crossovers. She had a backwards 1 foot glide. She had a 2 foot spin, and a couple other things. This kid came out there. Now listen, there are 2 kinds of ice skaters in my experience. You have the ones who they're doing it, but they are full of nerves, whether they enjoy it or not. That's just the kind of skater they are. And then you have the ones like my daughter, who quite literally thrive on the wind in their hair, all eyes on them. Everybody is just watching you, for better or worse. And my kid skated the cleanest program she's ever skated. I was so proud of her. She came off the ice. She was beaming. Her coach was beaming. We all knew she did a really great job. And then one of the other little girls came over to where we were sitting and said that the coach wanted my daughter. And I said, okay. And she said, the results are up. I want her to look at them. Now, I'm going to tell you guys something that never dawned on my daughter. My daughter... No, you know what? I'm not going to take anything away from her. My daughter got a gold medal. Deservedly so. She very much outskated the other skater. And yes, if you put it together, it was literally her versus one other kid. And I know that a gold medal is a gold medal is a gold medal, whether you skate by yourself, competing against nobody, or skating against 20 people. For her, it didn't matter. It was, I got a gold medal. I did the best job that I could do. And for me as a parent, the number one rule when it comes to ice skating is I don't care if you get first place or you get last place. All I care about is that you skated your hardest and you put the effort in. If you put your effort in and your effort wasn't good enough that day, there was just everybody else just outskated you that day, I will never be mad at that. I will never, ever be mad if you put your heart into it and other people just outperformed you that day. Because I tell her that the best skaters in the world even have days where people outskate them. Everybody in this sport falls. That's part of the nature of it. Everybody in this sport has better days than other days. And I just want her, and obviously we want her to have fun, but as she gets older, the fun is going to go away a little bit more because there is much more competitiveness. But the kid that she skated against, like it was a boy, and he was gone like within an hour of them skating. So I was like, they're not going to get on the podium. So she got her little gold medal. The girls that she trained with, 3 of the 4 of them got gold. And the 4th one did not place. And she was absolutely devastated. And the girl that Briar trains with, they're in group lessons together. They have the same coach. She was very, very excited about her medal, and she was talking to the other girl, and she couldn't understand why she was so sad. Now, keep in mind, my daughter and this girl are both in 1st grade. The other girls are both 8. I think they're in 2nd and 3rd grade. I don't think they're both in 2nd grade. So the older one, she's the one who didn't place, and you could see she was really sad. And I didn't see her program because by the time it got to her level, like, we were just human popsicles, and all of us were freezing. And it just, I had to explain to the girls. I said, you can be very happy for yourself, and I will never take it away from you guys. You guys worked really hard and you did a great job, but sometimes that's not always the case. And for the other girl, her program has much harder elements, and she just did not perform them to a level that got her a medal. And that's okay, right? That's okay. But I was explaining, like, she did not get one. And so you guys sitting here being like, we got our medals, aren't we the best? Look at us, blah, blah, blah. It just made her sad because she wanted to be able to sit there with you guys and be like, look at my medal. And she was the only one of the girls that did not walk away with one. So it was a hard lesson, and I think the kids understood once I explained it to them a little bit more. But I would never take away the fact that my child in particular, she skated her heart out, you guys, and she looked so good. And I reached out to one of my friends who skated when she was younger, and I sent her the video of Briar's program, and she said to me, she took up so much space on the ice. If you guys only knew how little my kid was. And just, she did everything she was supposed to, and I have never been more proud of her in that moment. And I'm going to put a picture of her here on the podium so you guys can see her. Obviously, I blocked out her face, but I'm really, really proud of her. And I'm hoping that I can figure out a way to edit a video so that you guys can see her program if that's something you're interested in, while still protecting her. But I'm going to get out of here. I've run out of time. I'm well over the hour mark already. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. If you made it all the way to the end, leave me a medal. There's a couple medal emojis or an ice skate. I don't care. Let me know. And if you are participating in Alice in Winter Wonderland and you have not seen me comment or like on any of your posts, let me know, because I feel like Instagram is hiding some posts from me. But that's it. That's all I've got. I don't want to keep rambling. I love you guys so much. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. And if you did, and you'd like to see more videos like this or nothing like this at all, please make sure to give this video 2 thumbs up. 1 real life, 1 virtual. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Come join the Sparkle Squad. And while you're there, hit that notification bell. Dang. I do not operate on any sort of schedule. I operate on toddler standard time, and I record when my tiny human is sleeping or right now, like at school. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys!